I guess I'm trying to correlate the difference.
Okay, you understand it in construction where it's a service, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Now you want to understand a product.
Yeah.
Okay, look. In the best value, a vendor should come in and totally understand the scope of what they're providing, right? So let's say they're providing over 3 years an IT system. Do you think they should be able to quantify this system in terms of performance? What they should now do is they should work backwards now and say, at various points, right, what is the stage of this deliverable? Does that make sense? In other words, what does this look like in 2.5 years? What does this look like in 2 years? What does this look like in a year and a half? What does it look like in a year? Should it look like now? Then what they do, they should identify everywhere in that timeline where they don't have enough information. And they should identify what information they don't have and what assumptions they're making to overcome the lack of information. Then they identify any of the items that is required to develop the end product where they don't control it. They clearly lay this out, have a risk mitigation on how that risk is going to be controlled, then they give it back to the owner, and the owner buys what? What is the owner buying here? He's buying their plan. Right? Why should the owner buy his plan? Because the owner now is utilizing what? Expertise. Does that make sense? And that expert vendor now is going to have that plan, and he's going to make it, quote, visible to all. Which means he's creating what now? Transparency. And if somebody doesn't agree with him, they have to come back before that contract is written. And they have to say, no, you said we need to do this, but we can only do that. That's fine. That becomes a what? A deviation in his product development. Because what he's doing is, we're buying the expert's what? Plan. In other words, we're actually assuming that he's an expert. So we're utilizing expertise. If anything with that plan goes haywire, and we didn't, as the buyer, identify it ahead of time, we pay him. That's how you utilize expertise, is the expert knows what? Best. Now, why should somebody do that? Why should somebody hire a vendor who says, this is what I'm going to do, and all the risk that I don't control is going to be the financial responsibility of the buyer? Why would the buyer hire somebody like this? Who has the explanation? Because by historical observation, when we identify people who can see into the future, who know what they're doing, the project cost is always what? Less. That's why. And when we hire somebody who doesn't understand what's going on, through historical observation, the project cost is always what? Higher. It's through transparency and the documentation that we've come to this understanding. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So what am I saying? As long as this guy controls, right, performance is always going to go which way? Down. That's it. That's why we have a problem in the construction industry.